My name is Jason and welcome to the Gunner Station, my channel where we talk all things Arsenal, and today we're going to talk about Arsenal's victory against Burnley, 2-1 to the Arsenal. I mean, I predicted 4-0 before the game in my preview, but I don't think there's anything wrong with me being a bit optimistic. A tough victory, but a victory nonetheless. So let's talk about the game. It was a very physical game, the ball was up in the air a lot of the times, but let's be honest, we don't expect any different from Burnley. They've been playing like this against Arsenal since they've come back into the Premier League. Leno, I didn't feel was the most comfortable with the physicality. You know, Ashley Barnes has a very good goal scoring record against Arsenal, which he continued today, even though Burnley actually don't have a very good record against Arsenal. His goal seemed to be deflected somewhat from Guendouzi, but still, you know, it was just that period of the game where Burnley were putting Arsenal under a lot of pressure, and inevitably the goal was coming. I'm just glad that, you know, in the second half we managed to come back into the game and score our goal to secure the victory. It was good to see David Luiz start today, his first game for Arsenal at home at the Emirates Stadium, although I did think it was quite harsh on Callum Chambers because I thought he had actually a really good game against Newcastle, and there was obviously the clean sheet. There was no issues with Chambers at all, but I can see why Emery made this decision, because with the way that Burnley play, the fact we don't have Mesut Ozil, who strives against these sort of teams that played very defensively, we needed that player who was going to potentially put on these long balls and long crosses into Aubameyang and Lacazette. David Luiz, I thought actually played very well today. I can't really complain about his defending. I thought at times he was very leader-like, which we have been lacking at Arsenal for many years, to be honest. So it was a very welcome sight to see him play for us. And speaking of Lacazette and Aubameyang, it was great to see both of them start today, especially Lacazette, who obviously didn't even come off the bench against Newcastle due to the precautions from the Emirates Cup game. I thought today both of them looked very sharp. Their performances overall were very good. They had enough chances. I thought they could have probably got more goals as well. But overall, I'm very happy with both of their performances, and you'd rather have both of them on the pitch at the same time. I'll always try to incorporate both of them on there because, you know, they're both £50 million odd strikers. You want them on the pitch at the same time. And a shout out to Kolasinac for coming off in the second half, despite all these security concerns and everything else that's been going on in his private life. That's not a dig at Mesut Ozil, by the way, but I just want to give a shout out to Kolasinac for that. I actually prefer him as a left back, not even just as a left wing back, but as, you know, just in that left back position than Monreal. I feel sometimes he just gets, like, people talk him down, let's say he's not a very good defender or that he just can't cross the ball properly. But a lot of the games I watch, I feel he does do that actions. I feel like the only one I can't really remember him doing well in was the Europa League final. But other than that, I feel like he's a good quality player. I mean, will he continue to start once Kieran Tierney comes back from injury? Well, that's a question for another time, shall we say. But easily man of the match was Ceballos, you know, the man I've had to Google to pronounce his name correctly. But in all seriousness, what a performance from him. He just always wanted to go forward, he had a hand in both our goals, and just, you know, that positive forward energy. Reminded me a bit of Fabregas, and reminded me a bit of Santi Cazorla as well. You know, I just wish Arsenal had a potential buyback clause from Real Madrid with him, but, you know, maybe it's just after one game, you don't want to get too far ahead, but yeah, I was very, very impressed with him. There was Nicolas Pepe who came on as well. I thought he actually did very good. Like, he's a lot more stronger. He's not like a flimsy winger. He can obviously hold his own. I thought he did a few forward runs. And I think once he gets put into the starting 11, we'll start to see his goal returns. Overall, I'm very happy with Arsenal's performance. I mean, you could be nitpicky, like, you know, every fan wants to be a bit nitpicky. Perhaps I wouldn't have played Guendouzi. I feel like Guendouzi gets overplayed a bit. I mean, don't get me wrong, I do actually really rate Guendouzi. I feel like there's the potential to be a very good player in there. But I feel that Emery does start him a bit too much. I would have put Torreira in there from the start. I thought Torreira, when he came on, did a lot better than Guendouzi did. But again, that's nitpicky. As I said, 2 wins out of 2. You know, as an Arsenal fan, how can I really complain and have a moan? We were even top of the league at one point. I'm sure that's changed now because I think Liverpool won their game. Now on to my player ratings. Starting in goal, Bernd Leno. Like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I didn't feel he was totally comfortable. You know, maybe not used to the physicality that Barnes and Wood will give to him, but at the end of the day, I don't think it was the worst performance. I think his kicking under the pressure was good. It's just obviously when the crosses and the ball's in the air, I would have liked him to be a bit more comfortable with that. So for Leno, I'd give him a 6 out of 10. On to Ainsley Maitland-Niles. I thought, it was encouraging. He still tried to go forward. I think he's getting a lot more comfortable in the right back position. There was a few frustrating times where he would dribble into the box, do some really good moves, and then just take a wild shot for himself rather than try to provide for someone who's going to be clearly better at shooting than he is. But again, I didn't feel like he had a bad performance as such. I'll give him a 6 out of 10 as well for Ainsley Maitland-Niles. On to the other fullback, Nacho Monreal. Pretty much the same actually. He went forward a few times, got caught offside. But there was positives there, and he didn't do really a whole lot wrong, to be honest. So for Nacho Monreal, I'll give him a 6 out of 10 as well. On to our centre backs. You've got Socrates, his usual self, very decisive. Combust as well with the physicality game. As I said, I think he had a better game against Newcastle personally, but as I said, Newcastle are perhaps an easier opposition due to their current fortunes with the owner and protests and whatever else. For Socrates, I'll give him a 6 out of 10. I'm giving 6 out of 10 for the back line at the moment. To be honest, I'll probably give a 6 out of 10 for David Luiz as well. Actually, you know what? For David Luiz, a 7 out of 10. I thought he gave us something different in our defence that we've been missing. I just mentioned the leadership qualities. Just the passing he was trying to attempt as well. We haven't had that in a centre-back for, I don't even remember, to be honest. So for David Luiz, I'll give him a 7 out of 10. I think he played very well. Not much to complain about his performance. Into our midfield, there was obviously Guendouzi. I mean, could you say he was at fault for the goal? It was deflected, so perhaps not. I just think he was a bit just above average, to be honest. Didn't really do a whole lot else. I'll have to give him a 6 out of 10 as well. I'm the 6 out of 10 guy tonight, but I'm sure there'll be some higher scores coming up. We'll start with one now. Ceballos, easily man of the match. As I said, he kept going forward, was involved with both the goals. Just such positive energy coming from him, which we've been lacking for a while. Definitely brings us a different side to the game than Granit Xhaka does. So for Ceballos, I'll give him an 8 out of 10 for Ceballos. Just ahead of him was Joe Willock, which I'm very glad he got the full 90 minutes. Obviously kept his place because Mesut Ozil hasn't returned to the squad yet. I thought he actually performed very well. I don't remember him doing anything particularly bad. I think he did try to go forward as well, perhaps not with the best of success. But I'm very encouraged. I do really rate Joe Willock, and I'm more than happy for him to continue starting games. So for Joe Willock, I'm happy to give him a 7 out of 10. I gave Ceballos an 8. Can't give Willock an 8, so 7 out of 10 for Joe Willock. Onto the wings, you've got Reiss Nelson. I was happy for him to start, especially over Mkhitaryan, who I thought had an awful game against Newcastle. As I said, the talent is there with Nelson, and you want him to do well because the talent is there, and he's one of our own. But he only had one half. It just didn't have, what did he actually really do? I thought he did definitely try to be positive, so you always get points in my book for that. So for Reiss Nelson, only last and a half. Average, isn't it? 5 out of 10 for Reiss Nelson. On to the other one, you got Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Of course, he got his goal. I thought he was always trying to go forward. He did get a yellow card, but this isn't fantasy football. You don't get minus points for that. He definitely tried to go, be a positive influence. He probably should have got more than that goal. I remember Nicolas Pepe probably could have put him in better, and then he obviously lost the ball. But overall, you can't really complain when he scored a goal. That's what he's there for. So for Aubameyang, have to be an 8 out of 10 for Aubameyang. As for his strike partner, Lacazette, again, it was very good to see him back amongst the goals. I thought his overall performance was very positive as well. I'll have to give him an 8 out of 10 as well. It's goals galore, really. It's always good to see your strikers. That's why you pay the big bucks for them. So for both of them to score, it was a good day at the office. Then on to our substitutions. First there was Nicola. I'm not sure I'll figure out which one it is. But Pepe, he came on first for the second half. He was the first substitution. As I said, a lot of positivity. I think he did try the strike. A lot of good forward runs. I remember he mugged off Ben Mee as well. It's just obviously that was that through ball to Aubameyang could have been a bit better, or some of his shots. But overall, I can see what sort of player we've got on our hands here, and I think once he gets to the starting 11, there'll be the goals will flood in. So for his performance today, I'll have to give him a 6 out of 10. So 6 out of 10 for Pepe. On to the next substitution was Kolasinac. Again, as I said, very good to see him. Perhaps didn't have enough time to really impact the game, but you know, he definitely got in there defensively, heading balls away. He just did his job, didn't he? So for Kolasinac, I'll have to give him a 6 out of 10. Then on to our last substitution, Torreira. Didn't really get to do much. You know, maybe perhaps he shored things up a bit more. I think he had a shot as well. But for the amount of time he was on there, he can only get a 5 out of 10 for Torreira. So that's all for today. Let me know in the comments below whether you agree with my ratings. What would you give the players? What did you think of the performance today against Burnley? Were you impressed? Were you concerned? You can follow me on my Instagram, which is in the description below. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and give it the thumbs up. As I said, my name has been Jason, and I'll see you soon. Take care.